After a bit of delay, but hello and welcome to the finals of the Washington State Scholastic Esports Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're down in middle school. We got the finals here coming at you. We've got Hilltop Heritage facing off against T90, both top of their groups. In the group stages, we've whittled these teams down from some 80 or so teams at the top of the season, now down to just 2. It all stands 5 1v1s away. One of these teams to take the crown. My name is Kaming, here with Kaizo. Kaizo, you excited to get into this? These two teams are on fire lately. Can't wait to see.
Yeah, and fire the optimal word here, because as the temperatures are rising, obviously the stakes are increasing as well in the Scholastic esports scene. This is finals week, baby. This is all across esports in the Scholastic scene. This is typically when a lot of those schools will have their playoffs. We just got done with Smash Bros playoffs a week or two ago over on a partner channel, and now we're back here for more WSSEA action. And as you mentioned, it is going to be Hilltop Heritage. It is going to be T90, and T90 are, well, let's say they are coming in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Hilltop Heritage with a completely spotless record coming to this one, K-Wing. They are 7-0 throughout the regular season, whereas T90, an incredibly impressive performance for them as well. They had that one blemish, that one loss on their record in the way that they got here. So a bit of a difference between these two teams, but still very, very much our two top performers that we have here in the finals.
Yeah, and you say that, but with T90, they've had a really incredible time getting to this dance, as right in the round 2, they had to take on the number 2 seeded Glacier Wolves, took them out completely and totally. 0-2 did not drop a 1v1, and that's going to be the format for this. This is going to be 1v1s. First 2, 3, best of 5 before we get to that crowning moment. So every 1v1 is going to matter here. Each stock is going to be so incredibly important.
Yep. Every stock's going to be important, and you know what else is important is that we give a big shout out to Zotac Gaming for helping us power today's stream, because it is thanks to their incredible support they're able to bring this broadcast to all of you guys at home and help to showcase the amazing esports talent that we have in the Scholastic scene. So make sure that you show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media, and make sure that you join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA when you post, and that is ZOTAC, as you can see down there underneath K-Wing on my digital left here. And with that, K-Wing, I do think we're ready to get underway, and I have heard that the first map that we're going to be taking it into here is going to be Final Destination. So very apt, very apropos here that we're going to be starting off the finals on FD.
Yeah, Final Destination is truly it's the no messing around stage. I know it's the meme of the 1v1 me, 3 stocks, no items, Fox only on Final Destination, but there's a reason for that. No platforms means there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You really have to be willing to walk the walk. You really can't try and keep distance as effectively as you might be able to in a stage, as it looks like we've got a Bowser and a Lucina jumping into this as Hilltop Heritage and T90 square off. Here we go.
We are ready and underway, baby. And this is a matchup where obviously Bowser wants to get in, get up close, and it's really going to be on the Lucina to create some of that good space. A lot of these Ford characters really feel like they fulfill their game plan best. They can utilize that additional range that the Ford represents, not allow something like a Bowser to get directly on top of you. I've got my eyes on Hilltop Heritage throughout the course of this set to make sure that they're keeping that good distance and preventing this Bowser from just getting in for free.
And so far, it's been about even, though, as these hits are huge. That's the Bowser there for you, is nearly getting countered on the up air and sent into kill percentage. Really in danger in the air. grabbing a back throw and on the back end, just in so much danger as Hilltop Heritage is going to get
Nice.
taken out there with the back throw.
Yeah, good back throw there, and a lot of counters coming through from Hilltop Heritage. You see a lot of that at the high school level, actually in the scholastic level in general. They tend to like that counter, throw it out a bit more often, the guys at the top level, because this is a little bit of a mashier format. People tend to do stuff like this. Hang on a second. The side B off the stage, K-Wing, and a second stock gets robbed away from Hilltop Heritage.
Yeah, and that's nasty. And this is something where you don't care about the stocks. Winning by a 3 stock is just the same as winning in a nail biter. So just looking again for that exactly, and there's nothing Hilltop Heritage can do. That is down and dirty from T90, but a win is still a win.
A dastardly performance here from T90, and you can tell that nothing on the brain except for winning. Kudos to T90 for pulling that one out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tool in the kit, K-Wing. You have to respect it. You have to play around it. And you can tell Hilltop Heritage got hit with one and thought, there's no way, surely, that they try to go for the side B again, lose a second stock like that in a row. That one was over as quick as it started. So a big advantage here to Tenino Middle School coming in as we go into game number 2. And it's going to be on Hilltop Heritage not only to create that space that we were talking about in game number 1, but also to make sure that you are preventing the enemy from going for those, you call them cheesier options, but at the end of the day, it's just very effective choices.
That it is, as we're loaded back in, but it looks like these guys are just testing out T90, pardon. Looks like we are on the wrong map. So these guys are just waiting it out here, but it looks like these guys are going to be staying the course with these characters, which is going to be an interesting one.
Yep.
As we saw once T90 got one stock above, it looks like, yeah, they're going to both SD.
There we go.
But once T90 got an advantage with that Bowser, they were completely willing to get down and dirty to play those side Bs. And, you know, it's cheesy, but again, a win is a win. And so as we are 1-0, T90 up, you have to wonder what the changes are going to be. If we're going to see something new out of these guys, if we're going to see the Lucina pick change, or if we're maybe going to see the Bowser pick change, I don't suspect that Bowser pick is going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, the Bowser's working, and you know what they say, don't fix what ain't broken, and very much not broken here in the finals is that Bowser. We did see at the, I did a collegiate event pretty recently, and there were a lot of character swaps, K-Wing. I mean, constantly, even unprompted, people winning on their side of the bracket, the characters working out, and then maybe they don't like something about the matchup, maybe they want the surprise factor, going deep into those pockets to really switch things up and go for a different character is very much a strategy that is alive and well at the scholastic level. So I wouldn't be completely surprised if we were to see an adaptation not only in the stage pick but also in the character. But like you said, it seems like they are going to let this one ride. The Lucina comes back out again as we get underway here for game number 2, and it is going to be Town and City this time around, so it is going to be a bit of a different configuration here. We will have those platforms for this Lucina to use, and a little bit more space as well that you can make use of, potentially keeping you away from this Bowser a little bit better and preventing him from really smothering you like in game number 1.
Yeah, but already we see the aggression that we didn't get to see out of T90's player, Cobra Ash. And just holding shield. It's already 114. I blinked, I looked away, and a back throw to nearly take the Lucina out to the side. And you have to be worried there when you go down a stock that early, because we saw exactly what happened And we know that this Bowser is going to be playing right by the edge of the stage.
Yep, you gotta be very careful. Of course, center stage, a very powerful tool that you want to hold down as much as possible, but especially against something like this Bowser, I mean, you have to imagine that Nabur is being very careful here to stay away from those edges and not get clipped by any of those side Bs. Seem to have found their footing a little bit better here. There weren't a lot of trades going on in that first stock, but now at least Nabur is getting a little bit of additional percentage in these trades, even gets a good counter there, but unfortunately the hitbox does not land, so despite avoiding the hit, they do not dish one out themselves.
Well, that's at least, it's good for them at the very least to avoid that to avoid the up smash from the Bowser, as that side B nearly took them out. A great counter, but again, the hitboxes, that's ultimate hitboxes for you, my friend. They are funky, as now you're looking for Hilltop Heritage, Nabro, their Lucina player, to either save the jump or just they're just not trying to engage on the side. But there's no range option for this Lucina to really engage with the Bowser that's not on his own turf. Exactly like that.
Yeah, and you can tell that Cobra is very well aware that most of their work's already done. They don't have to do anything fancy here, don't have to make any approaches, just wait for the mistake to come through, and Nabro gives it to them pretty swiftly there, ends up slipping off that left side ledge, losing out on stock number 3, and giving the second game over 2-9-0, and more specifically to Cobra Ash, who looking very, very comfortable on this Bowser. I mean, a lot of these high school and middle school players, K-Wing, love these heavy characters, the kind of thing that really punishes you for every single mistake that you make with one of those big beefy hitboxes. And Cobra is doing an excellent job of just waiting for an opportunity, sometimes from the counter, sometimes just on a whiff punish, and then dishing out an incredible amount of damage to Nabur in a lot of these interactions. We will get one more chance, K-Wing, for Nabur to make some kind of large-scale adaptation, but you said maybe let it ride in this case. It's yet to be seen if there's anything left in the pockets for this Hilltop Heritage player and whether or not they have any kind of character adaptation for the matchup.
Yeah, Hilltop Heritage is selecting. I'd like to see a character with some range options so that you don't end up seeing that exact same sort of, there you go, exactly. As you see the Inkling come out. Now 2-0. As we look at the next map, it's going to be Battlefield. So you have your best opportunity for Hilltop Heritage, for Nabro, to take this chance.
And this is a big one here as well. The Inkling probably haven't seen a whole ton of this character since the first year or two of Smash Ultimate, but still some pretty decent tools. That back air, very, very good. And you mentioned wanting the range, and having the additional projectile, that Ink Bomb, can be very useful in this matchup, as well as just the general evasiveness, trying to avoid some of those bigger hitboxes that the Bowser's throwing out. You can see already this having a much greater effect. This really, the first Hilltop Heritage lead that we've seen in this set so far.
Yeah, and you can see that T90 has to now try and engage. Hilltop Heritage is completely fine to have those old stare-offs the way that they had in that second match, just because now you've got the bombs to throw, you've got the range option, and you can start making some noise on the other end. Like you said, the evasiveness of this Inkling, T90 is having a little bit of a tough time getting to grips with it, as a great evasion there, and that might be first stock. What a ricochet.
That's a weird one, man. I think the initial hitbox on the Ink Bomb knocked him down, and then the explosion stage spiked him. I don't really know for sure what happened, but the outcome is definite. That was a stock loss already for Cobra Ash. The first time, again, that this lead has developed for Nabro, it really does seem to be the additional mobility is really paying out dividends here, K-Wing, because not only are they making use of the range, making use of those projectiles, it's a lot more whiff punishes than we saw in the previous couple of sets. This is definitely a much elevated level of play that we saw from that Lucina. Not that there was anything wrong with the Lucina, but they seem to be doing things much more by the book, much more carefully now that they're playing the Inkling.
Yeah, and like you said with the Inkling, just that evasiveness. You've seen so many times that T90 has tried to punish when this Inkling goes off stage, and it has just gone completely awry. A forward air that's just completely too low, or holding smash at the edge of the stage when just that Inkling is going right over your head. And now almost a full stock lead and securing it 1-3 now. We might see a complete turnaround for Hilltop Heritage as they take a little water break and just stare at each other.
Yeah, I mean, same thing that we saw in the previous game. There is no reason that Nabro needs to approach here, and it's really going to be on Cobra Ash to break that zone and get on top and make these interactions happen. You don't usually, K-Wing, see a lot of timeouts in Bowser matchups, but we could be headed that way if Cobra doesn't get a little bit of a sense of urgency with them and start to land some of these hits, finally getting a good clip there with that down air and taking away one of these stocks, but still a pretty decent lead here, about a full stock and then a little bit of additional percentage as well to work with. So Hilltop Heritage very much cruising here, and we'll see if Cobra Ash can catch back up and secure that final point, or if it's going to be Nabro that ends up walking away with this one and pushing us to a little bit further in this set.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the Bowser, is that you can be down a full stock, and it's just a few hits that you need to completely turn the tides, because that's just how Bowser plays. He's so heavy-handed, and just all of those hits, it was like 3 hits that just happened there, and you just got 70-60%. That's 2 or 3 times what you get off of the Inkling. It's ridiculous.
Very interesting adaptation here from this Bowser, as that Barry came through. Not a big punish like you said, but did end up getting some additional percentage. A lot of aerial mobility from this Bowser, who does end up in the ground again. Will take some substantial damage for it, but still clinging onto that stock and really making use of these platforms like you don't typically see these heavy players doing. Really floating around those tri-plats and trying to find an approach option. Whereas this Inkling just sharking on the ground, waiting for a roller, very much has the roller kill percent if they can get the berry. But with this Bowser kind of hanging out on these platforms, it's really slowing the game down, making it so that they don't really have a ton of great opportunities to try to go for one of those berries.
Yeah, and again, you just see this Bowser is having a hard time approaching, and there goes the roller berry. You see the button mash, doesn't get a smash attack off to kill. There goes side B. Okay, now we might have a game. As again, just reminder, one more can take it here. 4-90 as, that's a berry. That's the hit. That's the game. We have something going on here now. 2-1.
2-1 in favor of T90, but honestly, with the pacing, with the momentum developing behind Hilltop Heritage there, I would say the advantage is anything but securely in T90's favor right now. They definitely have some homework to do between these two games. Kind of sit back in your chair, take a breath, and think to yourself, what do we need to do differently to be able to navigate this matchup a little bit more effectively? Because it really did feel much more like the matchup was the checkmate, then suddenly the level of play just skyrocketed from Hilltop Heritage. I don't know, again, a character swap is always on the brain for me, but that's under the assumption, K-Wing, that, you've got a secondary, you've got a tertiary character ready to go. not everybody always has that, especially here at the middle school level. You see a lot of these players dedicate themselves to one character, get very proficient with that, and attempt to carry themselves forward with that solo main. Not a lot of people go for that duo main, having that kind of additional security blanket in the background just in case you run into a matchup like this that feels a little bit more challenging.
All right, we've got our fourth map. Just a reminder, 2-2-1 so far. We're going to be going to Final Destination. This could be the last one. Right here, as we are looking at a 2-2-1, or maybe we're getting a bit of clarification here as to what exactly we are looking at. But already, as we see, Tenino High School, Tenino Middle School, pardon.
There you go.
Up 2-1. Yeah. Well, Tenino Middle School up 2-1, but that win for Hilltop, I think, was exactly what they needed, because not only was it a win, not only was it convincing, but it was a cooling match.
Yes.
That was that was not a big blowout kind of win. That was something where the entire momentum of the last two sets goes out the window completely and totally, where you literally put a Bowser player, a character that is all speed all the time, and force them to go slow, to stare at one another.
And really take a deep breath as well.
I've never seen.
Yep. And we'll take a deep breath here while we've got a chance, and give a big thank you to LANFest as we wait for these players to get set up for the following game. Big shout outs as always to the LANFest crew for helping us build healthy communities through gaming. They've got over 20 chapters across the US with over 150 events per year. If you want to get involved, you want to play some of these LAN events yourself, you can go to lanfest.com. Make sure that if you're in the WSSEA area over there on the West Coast, that you check out the Washington chapters Infernal Land and Emerald City LANFest to find an event near you, because they've got plenty of them. We've got a whole lot going on, but it does look, K-Wing, like we're going to be going to a short break here as we wait for these players to get things figured out. They've got plenty of action left ahead of them. The tensions are only getting higher. The stakes are only getting higher. We'll be right back with the outcome after this.
And we are right back at it. 2-1 so far as Tenino Middle School takes on Hilltop Heritage, as Tenino at the moment up 2-1 in the best of 5 first to 3. But Hilltop Heritage is looking to make the reverse sweep happen. We saw an incredible turnaround with the Inkling swap with game number 3.
Yeah, and despite the fact that the score would tell you that Tenino's in the lead, I mean, it's really anybody's game at this point. It's going to be on Tenino to be able to make the large scale, I would argue, adaptations required to fight their way back into this matchup. And we are going back to this final destination that we saw for that first game, which of course Tenino did take in a bit of a different matchup. I mean, it's still Lucina as opposed to Inkling, but the Bowser is the constant there, and that was a winning Bowser on this stage. So maybe without those platforms getting in the way, this could be a different story. But man, Hilltop Heritage, K-Wing, still looking very comfortable in this matchup.
Looking incredibly comfortable, but again, with this Bowser, it's just a few moments away from slipping through their fingers, as Hilltop Heritage covering up that Bowser with some ink. And it's that evasiveness that we've seen so much of from Hilltop Heritage that has kept them alive and had them start the reverse sweep. They're still looking for it, looking to even up the set 2-2. Now a little bit of a deficit percentage-wise, as that Bowser is gonna grab the up air, back in the lead.
Gotta be careful landing there at that high percent, and learn that lesson the hard way. A great forward air combo into the side B. That's big percentage dealt out to this Inkling as they come down off the Halo platform. This Bowser looking to have made those adaptations I was really calling for there. It almost felt like, I think they used the word checkmate when I was talking about it previously, but I mean, maybe it was just check after all, because Tenino looking a whole lot better. They are launched off to the left-hand side, will have to deal with the ledge trap, but I mean, even these landing down airs seem to be really paying out dividends for Tenino, getting them to the point that they're up almost a full stock now.
Yeah, I'm worried, though, about these side Bs that are going to be coming out from Tenino. We saw how deadly they can be in our game number 1, as that is nearly a shield break from Tenino, playing with a dangerous level of low shield, as Tenino just still sitting on 140%. Is just in so much trouble as they take a little water break. They take a little stare at each other, recharge that ink, take a little stroll as well. And then, you know, they're like, all right, start back up again.
And back to beating each other up. And it is going to be Hilltop Heritage that lands the first blow after our intermission there. Has this Bowser on the ledge again. Edge trapping hasn't been immaculate so far in this set, but that's an excellent job by Tenino, going all the way up there, grabbing him with that up B, taking away stock number 2. And this is tournament stock now for Hilltop Heritage. They lose one more, they're out of it, in a big mountain to climb here, K-Wing. Still need to take away all 3 of these Bowser stocks unless they want to get ended up, or unless they want to get eliminated here in the finals.
Yeah, well, there's the first one, but now out of ink, able to evade just for a moment, but every bit of percentage is going to be so brutal there, and Tenino not willing to try and take, doesn't try and go to the right there, doesn't try and get the cheeky, respects his Inkling a bit more than maybe the Lucina. There goes the spike, but again, every bit of percentage is so crucial for Hilltop Heritage. They can't take this much trying to eliminate the Bowser. Now in an 87%, nearly hitting the Bowser with that ink bomb. Just can't find it now at 100%. Needs to play these stocks almost perfect if they want even a chance. And that's gonna be it. Tenino Middle School will bring it home. Will get the victory. It looked dicey there for a second, but only a moment as the adaptation comes through. The Bowser comes out on top, and Tenino Middle School are your Washington State Scholastic Esports champions.
And T9-0, baby. I mean, it looked really good throughout most of that set. There really was that big stumbling block once the Inkling swap out came out initially that seemed like momentum may be shifting in the Hilltop Heritage direction. And Nabra did an excellent job in that first game on the Inkling, really neutralizing a lot of the pressure that the Bowser was putting out. But, I mean, Cobra's adaptation there in that final game, I mean, you can say it's home field advantage. Obviously, they're very comfortable on the final destination, but whatever it was, they absolutely played phenomenally once they got away from that tri-plat configuration and got their solid feet underneath them. Those side Bs in the early stage of the set, very good, and then even going up very high for some of those very high up Bs and up airs, trying to catch these aggressive landing options from the Inkling. It was a development of the playstyle throughout the set, and a very well-earned victory here for Cobra Ash and for T90.
Yeah, an incredible set, incredible adaptation for Tenino, and just fantastic. There's no other word for it. They got the victory. They pulled it out in the end, and congratulations to that Bowser player. Oh man. I mean, just incredible, just fantastic out of Cobra Ash, and a big congratulations to their entire team. And it looks like this is the last stream of the season as far as we are being told so far. So we want to give one last big shout out and one last big thank you to all of the people who made this happen, to our wonderful producers, to our wonderful observers, and everyone who pitched in to make all of this work so incredible, and to the sponsors you can see at the bottom of the screen. We've run through all of them, including Seattle Built PCs, and massive thank you to them. Seattle Built PCs are the custom PC builders trusted by the pros. Since 2020, they've been crafting incredible rigs for world-famous esport players, content creators, and even the developers of your favorite games. Seattle Built wants to work with you to create the PC of your dreams whenever you're ready. So if you're looking for a custom PC built by people who care, check out Seattle PC Builds at seattlebuilt.com. Seattle Built PCs. I think I said Seattle PCs Built. Seattle Built PCs.
A bit of a
There are
tongue
PCs
twister. Yeah,
built
for sure.
in Seattle. I'm a little out of practice.
The
It's fine.
important thing is that they're good PCs and they come out of Seattle, right? Like, these are the big things that we're talking about. So big shout outs to Seattle Built PCs, and as you mentioned, also to Landfast Zotac Gaming, and a big shout out as well to our production squad, Connie and Taylor, making things happen behind the scenes. And you said it, K-Wing, this is the final stream of the season for WSSEA. We've had such a diverse cast of content across a bunch of different game titles, but it is all culminated in this T90 victory tonight. So one final shout out to Cobra Ash and to Tenino, for bringing that one home. But that is going to do it for us, for myself, for K-Wing, for Connie, for Taylor, and everybody else here at Landfest. We want to thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for sticking with us throughout the season. We hope that next Scholastic Esports season going to be just as fun, if not better. And we'll catch you in the next one. We'll see you then.